We're here to empower high-income earners to gain back control of your time through financial independence and stop trading your time for money and start letting your money work harder for you.
And hey, if you want to meet other high-income earners on their FIRE journey, join our High Income Earners FIRE Facebook group. Every month, we'll have guest speakers and we'll share about what our team is currently working on and allow you to share what you are working on with other high-income earners.
What's up, high-income earners? Welcome back. Today, we have a very special guest who is specializing in day trading and has 900K subscribers on YouTube. And if you're someone who's struggling with day trading and you want to flip your account from red to green in 1.5 years, and if you want to know how she control her stop loss and how she managed her risk management, you definitely want to give this episode a listen. So let's get right into it. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to High Income Earners FIRE. Today, our guest is Shay. What's up, Shay?
Hey, Cody. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me.
So, Shay, you are the first day trader I have on my podcast. And most people know, and I think this is a fact, that most day traders lose money. So can you start by sharing your journey going from losing money to start making money?
Yeah. I think the stats say I think 90% of all traders lose money or something like that.
Do you think that's real or more?
I think it's real. I think it's probably 90 to 95.
I think so too.
And probably only 5% of traders make enough for a good living, I think. But I think that's not really true. But then at the same time, the stat doesn't tell you how long these people have been trading. So I would say the first 2 years, it's definitely true. I fell into that group of the 90% that lost a lot of money. And I think that's everyone has to go through that. And then it's only the people who kind of can survive the first 2 or 3 years that eventually can get to that point to become profitable. So where I started with day trading is over 8 years ago, I was working in film and VFX industry. Mm-hmm. So I was a 3D designer. I make those Hollywood movies.
Sounds so cool.
People think it's cool, but the reality of doing that, it's so it feels really, really mundane and it's actually quite harsh on your body because you're in a dark room. The rooms have to be black because you cannot let the light come in because you need color. All the screens are color corrected. Mm-hmm. So you need the accurate color and accurate lighting on the screen. So you're in a dark room 8-9 hours a day. Wow. A lot of overtime. I will stay late till 7 p.m., 8 p.m. and I'll work on Saturdays a lot. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I didn't like that. And also at the same time, it wasn't stable. You'll get paid a lot for 2 months, but you won't have a job for 2 months.
Project based.
Yeah. So I realized that's not what I want to do for the rest of my life. So that's when I started doing day trading and learning to trade in the morning. Since I'm on the West Coast, the market opens at 6:30 a.m. my local mm-hmm. time, and I'll trade until 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and then I'll go to work. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I did this on the side, in the morning. So I'll I'll wake up at 5:30. I'll trade and do my technical analysis and learn and do that till 8:30, and then I'll go to work. I did this for 2 years. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So first year I lost a lot of money, but my biggest loss. My first year, I probably lost a couple $1,000s, nothing big.
How big was your account when you started?
Oh my God, I started with $2,000. So I blew up 2 accounts my first year.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's not too bad. I know people who start multiple 6-figure.
So that's the thing. I'm glad I started out mm-hmm. with not a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Then becomes recoverable, right? It's kind of mm-hmm. You're paying tuition to the market. Couple grand, that makes sense. You pay mm-hmm. so much more to go to U of T.
What, shots fired, eh? Yeah.
No. I went to art school. My tuition was around the same too. So
yeah. So you lost a few, blow up your account twice, lost a few K in first year, and then Do you know about the odds that 90 to 95% of day traders lose money when you start?
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
And why do you stick around?
I think the people who like you become kind of addicted to the market. Like the market like draws most people in. And you kind of have to become like that to eventually make it as a trader. Because for those people who expect to make money really quick or right away, they're going to give up. And that's okay. That's kind of like the natural life cycle of somebody who are just in it to make the money quick. If they fail for 6 months, they just quit. So they're part of the 90% who fail. And that's totally fine. Mm-hmm. But you kind of have to have a certain personality where you're crazy enough and determined enough and just, too dumb to give up, I guess. Some people called me that back then, that you just want to push through. So for me, I still kept the job, right? Like I saved up, like I keep on refunding my little $1,000, $2,000 account each time I blow up. And I just kept on doing it. It's pretty stupid and crazy. But I just kept on doing it. It's kind of what you need to do in order to succeed in trading. Like you have to be able to lose, a couple of $1,000s in total to eventually like see the other side.
So when do you start becoming profitable? Like, and is that like your experience? Is that common among other good day traders?
Like becoming profitable.
Yeah. Like, as in, like you start seeing, okay, we're flipping into the green by the end of the year. When do you start seeing that?
Yeah. So that will be my second year. In the middle of my second year, that's where, and you don't see that right away. Like it's not like an overnight thing, but you start seeing that, okay, well, I used to lose $100. Now I'm only lose 20. I used to make $50, but now I'm making like $80, $100. Like it's a very slow progression. But you just start seeing that because I track everything on my journal. I have an Excel sheet. I just start seeing more green days overall than red. It happens so slowly. Like even though I was still losing, I'm losing way less. Yeah.
And what do you think that changed? What changed? Mentality? Stop loss? What changed to help you to start getting into the green?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. Like the first thing is obviously now that I have over 1.5 years looking at the market, you start seeing more patterns and price action, like how stocks move before they're gonna break out or before they're gonna break down. So you just get more, like we call it screen time in trading. Like you just see more of the price action, how stocks move, and you see more of level 2 in the tape. So you kind of get accustomed to, like slowly you can predict how certain things are going to happen. And that's like very, very slow. But at the same time, you're right, stop losses and risk management. You realize that, okay, like, if I only, lose $50 per trade or $100 and keep it that way, then you won't have those blow up moments. So if I keep my losses like $100 or, $200 per trade, I won't blow up my account. I'll still lose for that day, but I'll survive to trade another day. So those two things in particular were really important.
Yeah. So your stop loss now is like $100, $200 for each position?
Now?
Yeah.
No.
No, it's different. Okay, we haven't get to that. But that's 1.5 years in, you start flipping the green. That's kind of what changed at that point.
Yeah. So, and then only then that I started using more size. Like I used to trade 100 shares. But then I slowly taking like 500 shares, 1,000 shares, depending on the stock price. So that's where, eventually I became profitable. But I had a huge loss. I wiped everything out. At 20K was my biggest loss. And that's after I became profitable at that time. That's another story. That kind of involves like swing trading and day trading.
Do you want to tell about that? I remember you said audience love hearing about that. Are you prepared to share that story?
Sure. It's a little bit embarrassing.
Well, you're keeping it real for everyone, right?
Sure. Okay.
I can share my day trading losses. I mean, I used to day trade too. So that's why I can talk your language and all that.
Yeah. So I was already profitable by then. I think we're talking about Snapchat IPO in 2017. I believe it's April 2017. Snapchat IPO. I traded it day in and day out for like the first month, and the range was really good, and I was making a lot of money on that. And I was profitable by then. But I decided to swing the stock short because I really think it's going to $9. At the time, I was trading around like 20, 21, and then had bad earnings. It went to like 14. So that's when I started, scaling in the short. And I ended up back holding the position because the stock went over 14, went to 20, then, just started trending up higher, and I added to the loser. So that was my biggest loss. Like, I never had a 5-figure loss until after I became profitable. And that was 21K US dollars after I back held it for 2 months.
Wow.
So it was really painful. I couldn't sleep for 2 months. I also don't have the capital to day trade if my account is like tied up in that position short too. Yeah. I was using margin and everything. It was just, oh my God, it was the most dreadful 2 months of my life.
Yeah. For most people who are like, Cody, what are you guys talking about? It's like when you're shorting, you basically has a limited downside risk. As in, if the stock goes to the moon, guess what? Your account can blow up and owe more money if it really goes that high, right? So what makes you decide to take that loss, and what do you do in between? I know you're like losing sleep and all that, but how do you decide to eventually be like, you know what, 20K is enough? Like, what make you decide that?
Unfortunately, my broker decided that for me.
Oh my gosh. So that's margin call.
So I got margin called, and I thought about whether I want to add more money, but I ultimately decided, okay, I think the margin call is the sign. So I didn't add more money to it. So I just got called out.
And looking back, do you think that's a good decision?
Yeah, I think so. Well, yes, it was a good decision. But I will say 3 months later, it did go back to $9. But there's no way I could have survived another 3 months.
Yeah, it probably went up so much that you could have lose more and then come back down. So there's a lot of, I guess, day trader or even, people who do this kind of short-term things that eventually I'll be right. But a lot of time, the short-term and medium-term, you couldn't survive that kind of margin requirement. Yeah,
like you're going to blow up first before you become right. It's true.
We probably don't want to blow up in any way.
Unfortunately, that's what my account did a lot my first 2 years. But after that 21K loss, I learned my lesson. Like I haven't had I have had bigger losses, but I was never that stubborn ever again. Like the biggest loss I had nowadays is not from bag holding for 2 months. Like I don't bag hold anymore. I still, I have bigger losses, but it's just from one day. It's not from over the course of like 3 months, 2-3 months.
So after the second year, what have you evolved to become the you now? You've been in it for 8 years now. So what has evolved to now? If you fast forward to now, what are you teaching now? Just in case you guys don't know, Shay has a big day trading coaching program. I'm not part of it, but I heard great things about it. And she has a big YouTube channel. So go follow her. She's really funny. Not because we're from the same original country. We're both from Taiwan, but she's really funny. And I used to do day trading. I don't do anymore. So if any of my audience like to learn more about day trading, think you have a neck for it, you have a personality, you have discipline, and you're just too stubborn to give up, look into it.
Thank you. So after second year, after that huge blow up, I was defeated, but I, refunded my account. But then back then, I already had the skills. I already know what strategies to trade. So it still took some time, but I did recover the 20K loss. And into my third year, that's when I quit my job. So I'm a full-time trader. So the changes
does your parents know that you quit your job?
They knew I was dabbling in stocks, but they didn't know I quit. I told them.
When did you tell them?
Year 4.
I did the same thing. Just so you know, I did the same thing. I remember I told them like 6 months to a year after because I want to make sure everything is fine and all that.
Yeah.
And then, I'm not asking for money and
Yeah,
I can
see, I
tell.
understand. Like I just don't want my parents to worry,
And it would create extra stress for you, right? You're like, I'm already like trying to make this work and you're not helping, right? With all the negativity.
Yeah, we're not lying. We'll eventually tell them, but we'll tell them when things are all good and like, they definitely don't need to worry. And when you tell them, you have to give them red pocket so they understand. So
Red
they know
pocket.
how to money.
Yeah. So you're not only telling them bad news, but at the same time, you have to make them feel better and say, don't have to worry about me. I already give you money because that's what parents worry about, right? So, if you quit, do we need to shove away more money in case Shay come back and live in the basement kind of thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm really happy and proud to say I've never asked them for money during that time. Ironically, I had to ask for some money when I was started working in VFX because they didn't pay me enough. But since I started trading and became profitable doing that full time, I never had to ask them for money.
Cool. So that's a third year. Anything significant change between year 3 and today that make you more profitable? Anything that, anyone can learn from you?
Yeah. So I would say trading gets boring eventually. Like if you're doing trading right, there should be no like crazy ups and downs in terms of how you trade. You just kind of tweak your strategy a little bit each and every year. So I would say in 2020 and 2021, those just like for most traders, those were the best years. And those years, you have the skill set and all the risk management, all the strategy from prior years. So for those 2 years, I just scaled up. So I just doubled my position size and just take on more risks when the market allows. So you learn when to size up and when to size down. And in 2022, last year, I sized down a lot because liquidity was dry, market started downtrending. You can short stocks, but it's difficult to short big size when volume just not there to meet you. So you learn when to size up, when to take more risk, and when to take risk off. So last year I sized down a lot. This year I'm trying to increase it back up slowly, but we'll see. This year so far is so much better than 2022. But I would say there's no drastic difference into like what I did over the years. It's just like you adjust your size according to how the market is treating you.
Does your strategy, overall main strategy, change since 2020, 2021, 2022 to 2023? Yes.
Yeah, it's like constantly change in the way, in terms of, I think the overall execution is the same, but I think the criteria is different. So that's,
what do you mean by that?
Yeah. So for example, let's say I used to trade stocks that only gap up 20% on the day, because stocks that's over 20%, I trade also small caps and big caps.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about small caps, stocks over 20%, there's certain patterns, and especially if there's enough volume, there's certain price action they tend to do. But nowadays, the small caps, they don't really gap up 20% anymore. So that's where I have to adjust in terms of how I scan and look for stocks. So my criteria has now dropped to only 15%. And that's a huge difference. And also don't move as much anymore. So execution is the same, but entry and profit taking and the sizing is now different. But overarching strategy has to adapt. Otherwise, you might just never find trades that fit your criteria.
And if you can use like 30 seconds describe your strategy, what is your strategy? Do you have one that you stick to? I know you change up the criteria, but what's your main strategy? Swing trade, day trade? Or you try to look for stocks that's going to go to the moon and then take profit along the way? Or are you trying to trade reversal? Or what is that main strategy?
Yeah, so I have a couple, but my favorite is when stocks get really, really extended on the short side. And that one works really well this year and last year, especially in what we call it bear markets. In bear markets, you have these huge rallies that the stocks can bounce for multiple days. And then what I look for is I short them after they gotten so extended. So for example, I don't know when this is going to be published, but I'm shorting Riot right now. That's a Bitcoin stock.
I know, yeah, Riot and
yeah. So it's been up for like 4 or 5 days straight. So I wait till the peak and I short the first day they become red. So that's one of my favorite strategies because the risk reward is there and the probability of success is really high. So that's why I'll have one or two that I really focus on. And then I have a couple other side strategies that you see more often. Because the higher probability strategies, you probably see them like once every 2 weeks. So during those 2 weeks, I'll trade the other ones that I don't like as much, and they are not as high success rate, but they show up more often. So I'll take those.
And then when you short stocks, just a disclaimer, okay? We're not suggesting any stocks. We're not suggesting any strategy. Shorting is a very dangerous thing, but if you can do it right, it can be very profitable too. Because when the market works at your favor, it can be very profitable. But again, has limited risk on the upside. So when you set up like short for a Riot, how do you set up the trade? Do you just short the stocks outright, or do you buy a put option, or what do you do?
Yeah, so I don't trade options. So I actually short the equity. So I'll borrow, let's say if I want to short 1,000 shares, I'll borrow 1,000 shares from a broker and I short sell the stock. And usually like I like to place my trades in the first 2 hours of the day.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. And then like I'll let it ride out through the entire day or till midday, depending on the strategy.
And do you have a stop loss that you put in? Because shorting equity, if it goes the other way, right, you need a lot more money to be there. So do you have like a rule that you set in and say, if I short a stock, this is only going to be 10% of my overall cash going in. And if they reach this amount, I will get out. Like I'll call it a day.
Yeah. So for me, I use $1 risk amount. So same thing I size. Let's say if I think I have to risk 50 cents per share, and then let's say my maximum risk is $1,000 loss on this, trying to make 3,000. So my risk reward be 3 to 1. So risk reward, 1 to 3. Risking 1,000 to make 3,000. And if I'm risking 50 cents, that means I can only take 2,000 shares. So the stop is at $1 risk amount. And that amount should only be like 1 or 2% of your account size.
Again, whatever Shay's talking about takes her years. And guess what? I was lucky because at that time I had a day trading coach. And at that time I was, she was, for people, for the listener and you that were new, it's like she was driving a Rolls Royce at 24 and flipping Hermes bag. I'm like, you must be doing something right, unless you have a rich parents. But I don't think she does. And at that time, she was only trading maximum 2% of her account. I was like, why are you doing that? She's doing day trading, right? And she was swinging with 50 million, right? So 2% of that, not a lot, but if you can hit double digit return of a year with that 2%, it's still very significant, right? And that's because of the math and because of the risk management. And, you kind of point out that. So I want to point out to listeners.
Yeah. You can have the best strategy in the world, but if you don't have risk management, you're still going to fail as a trader. So risk management is like sometimes even more important than whatever strategy you decide to trade.
Yes. So I want to bore people with more technical stuff. Like you're a geek, I'm geek. I used to be a day trader. I still have coaches that are day trader. We can talk about this all day, but our podcast is talking about high income earners. So how does whatever you're doing now help you become a high income earner? How are you what are the ways that helping you become high income earners?
Yeah. So I like to call it stacking your income, like from all the skills you learned along the way. So I would say when I first had my job, my job was high income. If I don't take breaks during the year, I probably still make it like 100K per year. from my job.
Don't eat, don't sleep overtime kind of thing.
No, I mean breaks as in like breaks in between projects. That's like 3 months. Like if I had a project that's a whole entire year, it would be like a 100K, 110K job.
Yeah.
So I saved out a lot from that. And then later on, when I learned day trading, that's when you use money to make money. So when I had my job, I was using time to make money. But when you can use money to make money, then the growth is even more exponential. So that's the second way where I generated a lot of cash, a lot of income. And from there, you kind of leverage whatever profits I have and I put it into real estate. Sometime where I was experimenting with like flipping with my friends. Didn't work.
Flipping in real estate?
Yeah.
In Vancouver?
In Vancouver.
Where?
During the bull market.
Okay.
Like it wouldn't work now. Like it has to be, interest rates has to be really low. Everyone has to be buying. This is we're talking about 2015, 2016, 2017. Those were like the 3 best years.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't do that anymore. And then later on, I started buying like rental properties that, I have someone to manage that now. I used to do it myself, just it got a little bit too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I also do that. And then I started my YouTube channel at the end of 2019. So at that time, when you start a YouTube channel, you're not really using money to make money. You're leveraging your skills and your knowledge to make money. So it's just different ways to like, no one way is the right way. You can use your time, you can use your money, you can use your skills to generate income. So that's kind of what my YouTube project became. Like I thought it was going to be like a little side thing I do on the weekends, but now kind of since 2019, it blew up as like a really, really big business now, where I talk about day trading. So my YouTube channel is called Humble Trader.
Yeah, Humble Trader.
Day trading, swing trading sometimes. And I kind of just share my experience and my learnings, lessons, some of my strategies on YouTube.
And you're so cool because there's not a lot of day traders and who are also successful at YouTube, having a good YouTube channel and creating good content and with some good humor too. So how does all these 3 things work together, right? I probably know, but I want you to tell our listeners, how does this work? Is it you two just get a lot more exposure, people are interested in you, and how does it go from there? Yeah.
So I had a film background, film and VFX. So creating videos was natural for me and writing these like stories. So I think that's why my channel really blew up. It's because I talk about my real life experience in trading, but I can do so in a way where people get entertainment or knowledge value from it. So I think that's why people like it. Yeah, like it's not, well, people tell me this. They say, oh, it's not boring because all the stuff like technical analysis, numbers can easily get really boring. You just don't want to sit through the video. Yeah. But I try to make it fun. Like I add jokes. There was a time where I was trying out script writing. So I add a lot of jokes. And then like all the bad jokes like don't work out. I throw it into my YouTube videos.
Do you think if someone who's listening to this, is it too late to start YouTube?
No, it's never too late. I would say it's a little bit more difficult now. But that's what people say about YouTube in 2019. And I still started it. Yeah. So, as long as there's good content, there's going to be more people tuning into YouTube. So you'll always have a growing audience. But obviously there's more channels popping out every single day and competition is fierce. But as long as there's something about you that stands out, something that distinguishes you from everyone else who's talking about investing, trading, real estate, anything, as long as you are unique, people will listen to you.
And like how much time do you spend on day trading nowadays, every day? I'm not talking about, working on your team, looking after your students, all about actual day trading. Like, do you still spend hours on improving, looking at your trading journals and all that?
So actual trading and planning is 3 hours a day. So from my local time, 5 a.m. to 9 actually. So that's 4 hours every day, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. That's like the golden time I place all my trades. And then in the evening, I'll spend another hour every evening to kind of prepare for tomorrow. And this is the stuff for my own personal trading. So like, that would be 5 hours a day. And sometimes I take Fridays off from trading when there's nothing good. So I just don't trade.
Yeah.
And then the rest of my day is scattered around doing YouTube or taking care of my community members, answering questions, making lessons, recapping the trading plans, or, I talk to my members one-on-one. So that's where most of my time is spent in the afternoon. So for me, that'll be from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Those will be the time where I work on my community and also my YouTube channel.
Do you still talk to your members one-on-one?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. You'd be surprised.
Not one to a group, one-on-one.
One-on-one, yeah. I talk to, everyone talks to me in the DMs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, calls,
but not on the Zoom. Not on Zoom, though.
No, it became a little bit too much. Yeah. DMs I can handle. I do group calls now. So my members, we meet once a week for an hour, and I chat with them. I show them how I'm trading, how I'm doing on the week. And then we go from there. But yeah, the one-on-one is in the direct messages.
Got it. Before we go into our fire round, I want to ask you this. Who's your ideal students, and what do they do? How do they kind of schedule out their day? How much time do they need to put in, let's say in the first 2 years, to be successful?
Yeah. So I tell all my members that unless you can put in minimum 10 hours a week on learning to trade, that's like the bare minimum. We're talking about 2 hours a day during Monday to Friday, or 1 day on the weekends. I think that should be the minimum. So I'm ideally would be someone who has a current job that allows you the flexibility of either working from home or a flexible schedule. To learn day trading. So a lot of my students, a lot of my members, they are also doing what I did. So they trade in the morning until about noon Eastern time, and then they go to the work, or they work from home. They'll do the job in the afternoon. Yeah, and then I tell everyone you need a minimum 1 year horizon. After 1 year, you should know what you're doing. But you cannot expect this in 6 months. So you need minimum 1 year. 2 years will be best. But now that we're more hands-on, I will literally guide them. I have a couple other coaches who do talk to the members one-on-one. So if you have so much support, 1 year you need to allow yourself 1 year.
And what's keeping them going? What do they want to achieve? What does your student want to achieve? I know for my student, they're like, Cody, I want to make double-digit returns, spending 30 minutes per week only. I know what they want. I deliver it. But what does your students want from learning day trading? Yeah.
So there's two groups. The first group are the people who want to do what I did, quit their job and become full-time trader, right? So, it's not easy, but it's achievable. So we have people doing that after 2 years. The second group are the people who want to keep their job, and that's great. I'm not suggesting everyone should quit their job. Only quit the job that you hate. But if you love your job, keep it. And they want to develop trading as a side hustle to make supplemental income. So we have people doing that who go to their job, who are engineers. We have a couple of car sales guys. Those are people with flexible hours, right? So that's kind of like the ideal client. Flexible hours to learn trading. So they'll trade in the morning, or they'll trade in the afternoon, for some people who prefer that. And then they are working the rest of the day on their normal 9 to 5 job.
Got it. Okay. We're going to go into our fire round. Okay. We're going to throw you some question and just answer whatever comes to your mind. Are you ready, Shay?
Yes, I guess.
Have you become a billionaire tomorrow? What will your day look like?
I think it'll look the same, to be honest. Yeah. I'll probably trade only 3 days a week instead of 4 days a week. But I think for the most part, it'll be the same. as boring as that sounds, because I like what I'm doing. Like I enjoy doing this.
I can see it. I can see it. If you lose everything, let's just say something happened catastrophic to your account. Someone even hacked your account, took all your money, all your real estate, everything. You have to start over by a drop of $500,000. You still have your knowledge, your reputation. What will you do all over again?
I will still day trade. Like now I have the skills. Like if I can just get $1,000 from somebody, I can slowly build it up. Like I need to be able to borrow that $1,000 capital to restart everything, but I can do it. I'm confident. Now with $1,000, I can probably only make $10 per trade, but then that's how you slowly build it up and like increase your size. So I can do this all over again.
There we go. There you have it. $1,000, you make $10. That's about 0.1%. 0.1% times 10 could be 1%.
Yeah.
Right?
And like in a couple of months, it will be 2,000, 3,000, 5,000. When you have $5,000, like it's a lot more scalable than 1,000.
I agree.
Yeah. I agree. But it's a faster way to make money than anything else. Like it's faster than like me going back to my 9-to-5 job. God, thank God. And I never want to do that. I think it's faster than doing YouTube. It's faster than anything. So that's why the trading will always be the skill set that I'll keep it for the rest of my life, and I'll be able to restart from scratch.
Got it. And I heard that you're starting a new podcast called Humble Traders. So if you are the podcast host, who would you like to interview?
Oh my God. I want to interview Kathy Wood.
Kathy Wood? What would you like to ask her?
Well, I don't know if you follow like art. Her style is very active. Like they are more like a trading fund, getting investment.
Yeah, active management fund.
Yeah, super active. Like they place trades like every week.
They share their trades too. Do you know?
Yeah, they're big trades. So I think I just want to understand a little bit more like what she sees in these highly innovative stocks. And why she keeps on adding to them. I think, and like, I want to know what's like to manage a fund like hers. And that's so controversial. It's been through like a lot of highs and then now a lot of downs. I kind of want to know the psychology, whether she feels stressed and whether she's ever thought about adjusting her strategy or not. Like I kind of admire that she sticks to it, but I want to know why and how.
It's somehow kind of like day trading, eh? Like you go through, like she has like the best performing ETF for the longest time, right? 5 years in a row, 30%, and all of a sudden down 80, 90%, right? So a lot of things to learn for sure, but she's still standing tall and all that. Great. What are some of the ways that you are giving back or planning on giving back?
Yeah. So the biggest way is just with my free YouTube videos. If somebody, like people are always saying like, oh, there's so many free resources online. You can just learn them. You don't have to pay for them. That is true, but not a lot of people actually have the discipline to learn from these free videos they see online and execute on them. So it's true. You technically don't have to pay for any program to learn day trading. But I've never known a single person who have the discipline to really practice and really put in the time. Because what they see is watch these videos that'll take them 20 minutes and they expect it to work tomorrow. So that's the biggest thing. But I will say like if you really like do just watch my videos, you can make it as a trader. But then obviously you need to give yourself time. Like I'm not saying like you'll make it in 6 months, but a year, 2 years, it's very possible. Another way is I'm doing a lot of in-person meetups for traders. So that's another way.
Do you one in Toronto?
I actually want to do that. Just like, Toronto has to be like a certain time of the year.
We could do a collab. I'll bring my student, you bring your student. We're going to have a passive versus day trading.
And we're gonna see how which kind of group is able to take more shots. It'll be the day traders.
I think it'll be day traders, man. Why am I just sleeping at 10 and they're gone?
Oh God.
Cool.
But meetups, in-person connections, and podcasts, sharing more experience and stories for traders to connect with.
Cool. And where can our audience find more about you?
You can find me on YouTube, Humboldt Trader, or my podcast, Humboldt Traders, anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Awesome. So everyone, there you have it. Thanks, Shay, for coming on. Go follow her. You can't not find her. Okay, just find her on Google and find her if you're interested in day trading. And thanks for your time, Shay.
Thanks, Cody. Thanks everyone for listening.
All the links mentioned in this episode are included in the show notes. And if you love this episode, please leave us a rating and review on Apple iTunes. The link is also included in the show notes. And we would really appreciate your help in spreading the word to more high income earners on how they too can maximize both their time and money.
Also, if you still haven't joined our High Income Earners Facebook group, you are missing out on High Income Earners community where we help each other reach our own version of FIRE.